Morning folks, how are we all doing? Not such a glorious day today, but hey ho, it's a day off, so it's out on the bike, happy days. And as you might have guessed from the title, I've had the BMW for a year, which actually the 4th of June last year I bought it. The reason being that I had a Kawasaki Versys 1000 beforehand, which was absolutely brilliant, fantastic bike. No issues with the bike, but I wasn't happy with, no matter what screen I put on it, I had wind buffering around the helmet, which annoyed the living daylights out of me. So I kind of decided I wasn't going to bother with another faired bike. I was going to go back to a naked bike. I don't mind the overall wind blast compared to the buffering. Less weather protection, I know, but hey ho. The other thing with the Versys I wasn't happy about was there was no cruise control, which for a big touring bike I think it should have had, but there we are. Minor issues. The bike itself was absolutely fantastic. I use it virtually every day. I was commuting back and forth to work on it. I was going out for a day out having fun on my own, taking pillions, long distances, all sorts. Absolutely brilliant bike, highly recommend them if you want one, and they're not that expensive either. Yeah, basically I'd had the bike for about 3 years and I'd covered some 32,000 miles in 3 years, which ain't bad going. Or was it 37? 32, 37, something like that anyway. And the bike really was looking old and tired, and I decided time to replace it. Now the original idea, although I didn't really want a faired bike, I was looking at a BMW R1200r S, which is the sports tourer. M&P had one down in Swansea on demo. A horrible mustard yellow, I admit, but the bike itself was really nice. Had all the toys like the cruise control, quick shifter, built-in sat nav with a whizzy wheel, all that. All I had to do was actually buy the sat nav itself. So I thought, yeah, I'll do. Well, happy days. Asked them if they could get it to Cardiff for me so I could have a test ride, no problem. They emailed Swansea, had a reply not long after, about an hour or so later, saying, sorry, we've sold it. So okay. So the salesman at the time said, why don't you take out the R, the naked one? Okay, not really what I was looking for, but why not? So I took this one out, the R1200r Sport. Now originally it had a lowered seat on it, and I sat on it and said, you're going to have to change the seat, mate, I can't even ride that. My knees felt like they were up around my ear holes. So basically robbed the seat off a different bike and stuck that on for me so I could test ride it. Yeah, it had a horrible screen on it, which immediately came off after I bought it, and a rack. The rack I've still got if anybody wants to buy one. It's for a monokey, monokey, something like that, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I took it for a test ride, thoroughly enjoyed riding the bike, went back, yeah, okay, I'll have it. So I bought the bike with a replacement seat. I've still got the cut down seat as well, if anybody's interested in that. I had to wait about a week for the bike because it had to be put through the garage and everything, serviced and whatnot, which was fine, I had no issues with that at all. But they took my Versys off me and they gave me a 1250r to play with for a week, which was jolly nice. A lot of people say there's a big difference between the 1250 and the 1200 because of the shift cam technology. I honestly can't say because I'd never ridden a boxer twin before. My first one to ride was a 1250, so I was getting to learn the bike anyway. Only had it a few days and then I picked this one up. So I can't really comment on which is the better motor. I'd need to ride a 1250r for a while and give an opinion then, so I'm not going to. Yeah, bought this one, removed the rear rack because I hated it, took the screen off, sold that because I hated it. Oh, it came with handlebar risers as well, which brought the bars up and back a bit. I had them on for quite some time. I took them off not long ago. I decided I prefer the standard setup. They are also available. Get in touch. Yeah. So I bought the bike, had just over 5,000 miles on. I'm not going to discuss how much I'm paying for the bike. That's between me and the shop, as it were. And off I went, quite happy. And we're just over a year later. I've just turned 18,000 miles. And she just had the 18,000 mile service, which I do. I do my own servicing, but I choose to buy BMW parts, mainly for the warranty side of it, but like I'll buy the BMW Advotech oil, BMW oil filter, BMW spark plugs, air filter, that sort of thing. They are more expensive, so servicing costs can be quite high if you go down that route. You know, a litre of Advotech is £17–18 a litre, I think it is. Somewhere around that mark anyway. But that's my choice. You can put perfectly adequate oil in, you know, Silcoline, Motrex, whatever. Nothing wrong with them. They're no worse or no better. I just chose to use the BMW oil. Entirely up to you. Excuse me. There we go, camera virus has started. Yeah, it's had 2 services. 12,000 mile was oil, filter, air filter plugs, general check over, oh, diff oil as well. Diff oil is very expensive if you buy through BMW. I didn't, I bought it through a motor factor, the correct grade, because you only need like 3/4 of a litre or something to go in the diff. Not a lot, and you can only buy it by the litre, so it can be very, very expensive. Yeah, done all that, and then I got the shop to do the valve clearances for me, because I wasn't 100% certain on what I was doing there. There we go, that was 12,000 mile service. 18,000 mile service I've literally just done was a general check over oil and filter. I do have to get the oil change in the forks at some point, which I haven't got round to yet. More than likely I'll end up going down the shop for that one, but the shop is so busy at the moment, there's a 5-week waiting list to get into the workshop, so no mad rush. There we go. Other than that, the only other things I've done to it is I fitted a tank ring for my tank bag. Oh, I put a cover on the clocks, a Dash Angel stick-on protector cover. I put a fender extender on the front mudguard. I put a radiator grill on the radiator. All stuff I bought off eBay and Amazon. Not super expensive, oh, except the fender extender. That's a... oh, can't remember the name. It's one of the better known makes anyway. It wasn't cheap, but it's worth it. What else have I done? I put a crash bung on the rear swing arm. Another cheap eBay jobby. And I've replaced the tyres a couple of times. It came with, I think they were Pilot Road 4s, which I'm not a fan of. Not a fan of any of the Pilot tyres, I've got to be honest. Just by preference. So I replaced them with Metzeler Z8s, which are the original tyres as fitted by the manufacturer. Fantastic tyres. They were replaced fairly soon after I bought the bike. Not because when I bought it tyres were worn, because I did a lot of mileage. They've been replaced since with another set of Z8s, which are now about due for replacement. So I'd say roughly, I haven't worked out properly, around 6,000 miles a set of tyres. But unusually, front and rear tyre tends to wear at the same rate. Normally your front tyre lasts a bit longer. You know, it's like 1.5 rears to 1 front. Well, in this case, no. They pretty much wear at the same rate. So a new pair of tyres are on order. I'll get them fitted in due course. So the bike has performed beautifully since. Every single day I've used it, and I've ridden in all weathers. Right through winter. To protect it during the winter, I've given it a couple of coats of turtle wax, liquid turtle wax, which I did when I first bought it. I'd had the bike a couple of weeks. I gave it a thorough wash and then turtle waxed everything. Pretty much, apart from the brakes and the tyres, obviously, and the seat. Anything that can be turtle wax, got turtle wax. What else have I done? I've done absolutely nothing else to it really, apart from ridden it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've had no issues that I can think of. Not once has it been down the shop for it. Oh, it did go in the shop once. I couldn't open the fuel filler. It's keyless ignition on this thing, and obviously once you switch off the ignition, you can then open the fuel filler cap. Well, I couldn't get it to work, so I popped it down the shop in a bit of a hurry because I was almost out of fuel. And it turned out all it was there was a little bit of a sticky catch, a couple of squirts of WD-40, and they fixed it for me. No dramas, no hassle whatsoever. Well done, boys. And that's, as far as I can remember, is the only issue I've had with it so far. Touch wood. It's not the best bike in the world. It suits me for my purposes. It's done some silly mileage. I mean, we've done Land's End and back twice. Once in the pouring rain, and she didn't miss a beat. Once in freezing cold temperatures going down and lovely coming back. There's a video on my YouTube channel for that one. Well, 2 months ago I think that went up. And it was down. It was -3 on the way down. One of the rare occasions I used the heated grips. Yeah, this bike is fitted with heated grips, which I hardly ever use, cruise control, daytime running lights which are adaptive, as in the DRLs come on normally, and when it gets dark the headlight comes on by itself. That also alters the colour at the back of the dash. You've got fully adjustable electronic suspension. I'm trying to think what else we've got. We've got rider modes, you've got road, rain, dynamic. Suspension is the same. I think it's road, rain and dynamic, or road and dynamic. You can adjust it for solo rider, solo with luggage, or solo and pillion, all off the buttons. Don't have to actually use your spanners, it's all done electronically. It's quite easy. You can alter the view of the dashboard if you want. I prefer this one. Keyless ignition. It's got a quick shifter blipper, or as BMW call it, the gear shift assist. Traction control, ABS. I believe you can switch them on and off or adjust them or something. I've never bothered. I've just left it alone. I don't see the point in messing with them. It does everything I want it to. But yeah, nice bike, goes well. Like I say, bucket loads of torque. You can tour, cruise, whatever. Yes, you get the wind blast, but it's an all-over wind blast. It's not buffering the helmet or anything. If you're happy enough riding a naked, these are fine. If not, buy a fared bike. It's that simple. Excuse me. Mine was fitted with an Acra Povic exhaust silencer. It's an aftermarket Acra, so you can take the baffle out, which obviously I did. If you buy a factory fitted Acra, you can't, because the factory fitted silencers, whatever make they are, whatever model, have to conform to the same noise and emission levels as a standard exhaust. So although you get a lighter can, you don't get any gains really. I'd say save your money and buy one after you've bought the bike. Buy it separately. That's my opinion. Right, well I'm going to go and have some fun. I'll do some more filming in a wee bit. That's basically... Here we go, overtake. Yeehaw! That's basically it. 12 months on the bike, 13,000 miles, more than happy, no complaints, no dramas as yet. And for now, I'm going to say toodles, and I shall catch you a bit later.